Day 17 of camp, and the final day open to the fans. It's an absolutely perfect Colorado summer morning to get one last up-close look at this 2019 squad as it prepares for a long season ahead. Hello, and thank you for joining us this morning for Broncos Training Camp 2019, powered by Ford. I'm Phil Milani alongside Matt Boyer and Steve Atwater. Guys, can you believe it's the final day open to the fans?
Day 17, Steve. I tell you what, though, it's been really cool to see the Broncos have two weeks plus of open practices to the fans. This is one of the most unique training camp atmospheres you're going to find in the league.
Yeah, it's been awesome. I'm like Phil. I can't really believe that the time has passed as quickly as it has. But yeah, we're at day 17, and it's been a fun ride so far. And I think the team has come a long way.
The Broncos had more open practices to the fans than any other team in the NFL. So nice to see that. And one of the surprise stars of training camp has been pass rusher Malik Reed.
I've been very impressed with Malik Reed, especially with the extra work that he's getting off to the side with Von Miller, Bradley Chubb. And the other thing, too, you know, Steve, that I've seen from him, he's a Mountain West guy from Nevada. I think that he approximates kind of like Shaq Barrett when he first came to the Broncos, former Bronco Shaq Barrett. So I think that he's a tweener guy out of college, but he's really made an impact. 2 sacks in 2 games.
Yeah, well, this guy has chips on his shoulder, one on both shoulders. One chip on his shoulders because he's a little bit undersized, and I imagine guys look at him and say, man, this guy can't play, but then he shows them. And then being an undrafted guy, I think most undrafted guys have a chip on their shoulder. So, but the good thing about it is he's figured out that he can play at this league, and when guys normally do that, their confidence increases and they continue to play well. So hopefully he continues to do that.
Reed has had a sack in each of the Broncos' first 2 preseason games, and Vic Fangio says the key to Reed's game, well, it's pretty simple.
He likes to hit people, which is job description number 1 for an NFL linebacker. And he's got good instincts and good feel. He doesn't know everything yet. You know, a lot of it's still new to him. He was a guy that played multiple positions in college, really never had a home there. And we're glad we have him.
You got to be aggressive to play this sport, man. And, you know, where I come from, that's, you know, number 1 what you have to have if you want to play this sport. So it's just something that I like to bring to the table.
Reed grew up in Alabama, so where he comes from, job description number 1 is a hit people. Right? That's what the name of the game is, right?
Yeah. I would assume that, you know, Ring of Fame safeties also probably like to hit people too, huh?
Yeah, well, linebackers and safeties who don't like to hit people don't last very long in the NFL.
Exactly. This is the final practice open to the fans, but the Broncos will have 2 joint practices with the 49ers. Let's head down to Alexis Perry on the field.
Thanks so much, Phil. Yeah, that's right. First, tomorrow they will enjoy a day off. Then on Thursday, they will return to the field to gear up for the San Francisco 49ers, who are making their way to the Mile High City for a couple of joint practices on Friday and Saturday. Noah Fant, the Broncos' 2019 first-round pick, will be reunited with his fellow tight end and University of Iowa tight end, George Kittle. Now, Kittle is in his 3rd season with San Francisco, so he's very familiar with the offense, and which the Broncos are implementing this year, and he's already filled Fant in on what he can expect.
As I've said before, it's a great offense for me to be in, a great offense for a tight end to be in, especially with, how Coach Scangarello likes to get to the tight end and things like that. So couldn't have asked for a better fit. And, a lot of time guys can't, you don't get to choose where you go in the draft, but it ended up working out perfectly for me. So.
Well, prior to joining Vic Fangio here in Denver, offensive coordinator Rich Scangarello was the quarterback's coach in San Francisco for Kittle's first 2 seasons. So it will be a reunion of sorts for Scangarello as well. So it should be fun and, of course, a beneficial couple of days for both clubs. Guys, back to you.
Thank you very much, Alexis. Yeah, this Broncos defense also very familiar with George Kittle. Of course, he had that huge touchdown last season out in the Bay Area. But it seems like Vic Fangio, a fan of these joint practices, he said he's reached out to Kyle Shanahan to go over a practice script, although the two haven't been able to chat just yet. But Fangio was actually a defensive coordinator last season when the Bears had joint practices here.
He said it's one of his most favorite things of training camp, being able to go against guys in different uniforms, kind of of change up the flavor of practice there, Steve. And one of the things also that I think is going to be beneficial this week is that the Niners offense and the Broncos offense is very similar. The wide receivers like to be close to the line of scrimmage. They like to use the tight ends and the running backs out of the backfield. So to change things up just a little bit as a proxy for what the Broncos are already practicing against, I think is going to be pretty beneficial.
Yeah, I think that's good as well. And, with them having similar offenses, the defenses, they should have a huge challenge because they've seen just about everything before. And I love the battles that the guys have. You get a chance to go against guys that you may not see during the season. And we will play the 49ers during the regular season. So we'll get a chance to see what our guys can do against their guys, even though they have a ton of injuries right now.
Vic Fangio also getting the fans pumped up here today. He's going with Von Miller. That's pretty
Nice.
cool. I think that Broncos country has really embraced Coach Fangio so far here. We heard from Noah Fant there that this offense is going to use the tight end a lot. It's also going to use the running back a lot, including Royce Freeman.
Yeah, we've seen Royce Freeman, Theo Riddick obviously got hurt last game, but those guys have been out on the edge catching passes. Freeman really does have that skill set to get out on the edge. We saw him do it a little bit in college at Oregon. And one thing to note, Steve, is the fact that the Niners, who have a similar offense to the Broncos right now, the top two of the top 4 receivers on the Niners last year both came out of the backfield, fullback Kyle Juszczyk and Matt Breida.
Yeah, that's very impressive. Man, Royce Freeman, he can't just be a bruiser. He can't be a one-dimensional back in this offense. He needs to be a back who can not only run the ball effectively, but also get out of the backfield, beat some safeties and linebackers in coverage and get open. But, yeah, that was great seeing that 50-yard run against the Seahawks. It reminded us of how he had those long runs in college at Oregon. So I hope he can have more of those.
Yeah, with all the success that Philip Lindsay had last year, Royce Freeman a little bit forgotten guy there in the backfield. So far through camp, though, Freeman likes what he's seen from this offense.
I mean, I think we do a good job of spreading the ball out in different ways and finding different ways to get guys that are playmakers the ball, So I think that's an important part of this offense and what makes us really a threat and kind of keeping defenses on their toes.
All right, well, it's time for us to take a quick break here on Broncos Training Camp 2019. When we come back, we'll hear from a new member of the Broncos secondary. Plus, we'll be joined by a Madden's Ratings Adjustor. Stay tuned.
Broncos banter each and every week. That is Broncos Beat.
When we even asked him about the defensive line and where these guys slot in, he said, look, I expect everybody to be able to play everywhere.
They're all in their quote-unquote contract year. That usually means that you play at optimum level.
Catch up on all the latest storylines with your favorite beat writers every Monday evening at 6:30 on TV 20.
For Chris, quarterbacks look at him before the snap and say, okay, I'm not going that way.
Broncos Beat for the most in-depth coverage of your Denver Broncos.
Broncos fans, sign up for the Broncos Fit 7K on Sunday, September 1st. The run walk takes participants through the Sloans Lake neighborhood and finishes on the 50-yard line at Broncos Stadium at Mile High. All participants will receive a Broncos 60th Anniversary Finisher's Medal, a historical t-shirt, and post-race entry into the Broncos Fit Expo with players, cheerleaders, and Miles the mascot. Go to Broncos7k.com and register now.
Camp's been going good, man. Just being consistent, watching guys like Chris Harris and Bryce. Just being behind those guys, watching them. It's been good.
What has somebody like Chris been able to teach you?
Just observing him, just watching his calmness. He doesn't give up a catch, but say if he does give up a catch, he's still cool, calm, and collect. It doesn't bother him. So just watching that and trying to use that, it helps.
Yeah, Devontae Bosby learning a lot from the All-Pro Chris Harris Jr. Bosby coming over from the AAF, showing what he can do so far.
They love him. Whenever he makes a play, whether it be in practice or we saw him make a PBU against the Seahawks, the sideline, especially the DBs, go crazy for him because they know this guy's paid his dues.
Yeah, and he's going to play a big role in that Broncos secondary coming up this season. We're back here on Broncos Training Camp 2019 and happy to be joined by sort of an unusual guest this time, Madden's Rating Adjustor, Dustin Smith. Dustin, thanks for coming on the show.
Hey, man, happy to be here.
Dustin, we have a bone to pick with you, okay? Broncos country. We've heard from Broncos country, all right? Von Miller used to be a member of the 99 club. He's 97 this year. Why isn't he a 99?
Everybody got the stretch this year. He's not a worse player. It's just us kind of really defining and making those ranges a little bit more special once you're in the 98, 97, 99 tier. So, I mean, for me, as far as how he plays in the game, he plays like a 99, but there's just a 97 number attached to it.
Got it. On the other side of the ball, Emmanuel Sanders, the highest-rated Broncos player. He comes in at an 88. But Sanders obviously coming off of an injury. How do you guys adjust your ratings when somebody so talented is coming back from injury?
Usually we won't dock anybody too much if we're talking about like a high-profile player who's proven that they can come back from injuries, that they've proven that they've done it at a high level. We don't usually dock them until they come back and then they're not who they used to be. So we're pretty good about just making sure everybody gets, fair due, that you have to play poorly before we lower anything. We may dock a physical rating here or there, but that'd be about it until we see something really bad.
One of the guys that I know a lot of Bronco fans, especially Madden players, are anxious to play with this year, Joe Flacco. 74 this year. What goes into a quarterback rating? Because I got to imagine that's a tough one.
There's so much to pull into it, right? There's awareness, making sure you're doing all your reads, throw power, or arm talent, if you will. That's what everybody's most, harping on if you're talking about a quarterback. Then you have short, medium, deep accuracies, all of your accuracies at all the levels. Throw on the run, play action, throw under pressure. I think throw under pressure is probably one of Joe's, improvement points. Other than that, I mean, he's still got the cannon arm. He's still got the accuracy in the short. The deep's still been there, for long enough. So he's still a very respectable quarterback. He's in the top 32 in the game.
We know that Madden out now, but unfortunately Patrick Mahomes is on the cover.
Oh,
so
man.
A tough sell here for Broncos country. Let's get to one last player here, Philip Lindsay, a rookie sensation last year. He was an 86. How do you rate a guy like that who's, obviously young heading into his second year?
So he started, I think, at like a 63, 64, 65 for us before the year because, you're an undrafted guy. You're going to have to prove it even more. As the weeks went on, he flew so fast. So him being in it, I mean, anything above like an 85 running back in our game is very much a high-quality caliber player. He should be able to be happy with a lot of the things he can do in this game.
Yes, speed definitely one of Philip Lindsay's biggest attributes. Let's take a break just a second here from Madden. Dustin, stick around for a second. Let's get back to a little bit of real football here. Alexis, give us an update down there on the field on the wide receivers.
Thanks so much, Phil. Yeah, Emmanuel Sanders continues to steal the show each and every day as he works his way back from that torn Achilles. But there are also a couple of other pass catchers who have caught my eye as of late, specifically second-year wideout Tim Patrick. Now, he's usually listed on the depth chart as a number 4 guy, but Patrick saw a number of first-team reps yesterday. Unfortunately for all of you Tim Patrick fans out there, Coach Fangio said it's not necessarily by design. It's happening by happenstance while wide receiver coach Zach Azzani is trying to keep track of the reps among the top 4 guys. Now, Fred Brown is another receiver who has been making the most of the reps he's been given so far throughout camp. The first-year wideout from Mississippi State entered the league as a college free agent in 2017 and has spent some time with the Colts and the Rams before landing here in Denver. But no matter the team, trying to carve out a roster spot is a grind.
I think camp been going pretty good so far. It's just really about coming out and just stacking days, man. Camp is long, it's hard, it's tough. That's expected. So I just coming out each and every day, work my butt off, come in and keep working and being consistent, catching the ball and making plays.
Brown is currently listed as Denver's 6th wide receiver option, meaning he'll need to keep up the hard work to hold on to his position. But man, the competition is tough. Am I right, guys?
Yeah, that competition in that wide receiver room is no joke. There's a lot of talent there. Might have to find a role for him in special teams. And speaking of special teams, the Broncos, the 10th lowest rated player in all of Madden, Broncos long snapper Casey Kreider. What's up with that?
I just got to talk to him a little bit ago. we got to start giving long snappers more their due. They need a little bit more love in that game. I've been championing that. Hopefully, Clint and the rest of our game team back home hears us. We need long snappers to be real people in these games. Like currently, we kind of treat them as a backup tight end, just so that we have a spot for them. They wear, they'll come out, they'll play fine, but until we give it the real love, unfortunately, he's going to be low-rated tight end.
He's claiming that his mustache is worth alone just a couple of more points.
I might bump his awareness up just for keeping the mustache. It's a good look.
He's the biggest gamer on the team. I mean,
that's pretty cool.
I know.
We know that punters are people too, but we need long snappers are people too. So, all right, let's wrap up the show here. Let's go back down to Alexis one more time. Alexis, what are you looking for here on the final day that practice is open to fans?
While we're still on the topic of special teams, my eyes are going to be on Nick Williams today as he continues to show that he may be worthy of a spot here on the 53, not only as a slot receiver, but on special teams as well. Guys, back to you.
Thank you very much, Alexis. I know that Dustin will be around after practice. He'll be meeting with some of the players and taking some heat, I'm sure. Matt, what are you hoping to look for here today?
I just want to take in the environment. Broncos country has shown up for the past 17 days, so I really want to be able to kind of get with the fans and just kind of enjoy the final open practice with Broncos country.
Dustin, thank you so much for joining us this morning, even though we were giving you a hard time.
Yeah, that's part of the life.
That's Dustin Smith of Madden's Rating Adjustor. And that is going to do it for us. This is our final live show during training camp. Thank you so much for tuning in every morning as we give you a look out at the practice field. So many people it takes to make this show possible. So thanks to everybody, all the cameramen, everybody in the control room. And that is going to do it for us. For Steve Atwater, Matt Boyer, I'm Phil Milani. This has been Broncos Training Camp 2019, powered by Ford.